Americans for influence.
Oh yeah,
style,
of course, 100%.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like that has been a thing for since I was a youth, and still to this day. Do I think that Jaquan Tipsy should be played on the radio on a Saturday on a between 7 to 7? Definitely not. But I can see how it happens.
I hear it.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna pretend like I don't. Hey, we're not gonna be here for too long today. It's just not gonna be one of them, isn't it? It's just not. There's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
But though, I will say the internet is asking a very big question right now.
What's the question?
And I think that they want us to unpack that just quickly. It's the internet is really talking at the moment. They want to know 100 man or one gorilla.
But why is everyone asking it?
Fam, I don't know, but the internet's asking it.
We can't beat the gorilla, you know. Marks is certain we can.
Is he?
Yeah, Marks is saying
now.
If he's in the last 25 battalion, he's saying we have to hit it in 25 man increments.
Let me ring him.
Yeah, big pause.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah?
You didn't say it was a man or a woman.
Yo,
you're live on Hcpod right now. Yeah?
Oh shit, my Achilles.
There's a big question that's been asked, and I'm hearing that you that you have a certain stance on it. So I just want to hear it from you.
What's the question?
The big question is 100 man or one gorilla, and you're saying 100 man's got that.
It's not just 100 man. It's 100 man, like with me in charge, innit? It's not just any 100 youths. Remember, I'm moving like King Leonidas is separate. Like, if I got 100 man, that gorilla's cooked. One gorilla, and there's a big man in there, 100 of us. It's finished.
All right, let me ask you a question. How do you kill it? How do you kill a gorilla unarmed?
I don't. Basically, yeah. I told you, you got to attack it incrementally. We're gonna surround it, groups of 25. So imagine 4 rings of 25. The first one, they all engage at the exact same time. As soon as they make contact with the gorilla, the second one's engaged. Now, there's a couple man in there. Their job is to poke the gorilla's eyes out, so the gorilla can't see.
Yeah, I hear that still though.
You know what I'm saying? They're going to poke the gorilla's eyes out. I need like 20 man, 15 man each arm, just holding it. Then I'm going to send the other 25 in to just hoot them up and thing. Remember, I'm in the last 25. Everybody's forgetting that. I'm in the last 25, so I'm going to come for the kill. Do you feel me? Then I'm going to run up on him. Bow! One piece him.
What you saying? By then he's done now.
Yeah, he's done by then. By then he's done.
But how much man dead then?
Oh, 60? 60 easy. Brown bread food way. Finished. But remember, I'm in the last 25. That's the key thing.
I hear it.
I don't think I'm Superman. I'm moving sensible. You get me?
Alright, say no more about it. Hey, pull up again though. Pull up again, innit?
I'll show you, man. Link up, man.
Oh, my G. Alright. So, hey, his logic's not far off, but
bro, you're forgetting the fear factor. You see, he wants them, the first 25 battalion. He's talking about as soon as that first batch make contact, as soon as they do you know what contact looks like for that first 25? Heads, limbs ripped off, gone. What are we gonna do? Not even really got nothing. Like, I can fight.
Well, here, yeah. Let's have it right. No one ain't knocking it out.
I think you have to.
You can't knock it out.
Eventually, how do you kill it then?
What kind? Well, yeah, but
even
what kind?
Even if
bro,
you can hurt it, how do you kill it?
Understand the force that you would need. Actually, no. You see, when you knock out a human being, yeah, sometimes it's not about power. It's about the sweet spot, innit? Yeah. I don't know where the gorilla's sweet spot is, but I will say that you have to hit that hard enough still to get that sweet spot.
It's accumulation though. Even then, it's not dead. It's just knocked out.
Yeah,
like, and then you got like.
Oh yeah, but it's just after that. If you knock it out, you can break it. Yeah, just break his neck. And what?
How?
How do you break his neck?
We haven't got any weapons. I just don't know how anyone.
Well, if you knock it out, you just keep stamping on it and it's done, innit? Surely,
maybe.
You wanna hope so. But you know what it is, yeah? What you showing here?
No, I'm just checking if they got a temple. Anybody that's got a temple can get cooked.
That's true. That is true. Has a gorilla must have a temple.
Yeah.
Of course they have a temple.
Jaw to the top of the skull.
So it's basically the same as us.
Yeah, of course.
But it's not one bang's not enough.
Yeah, one bang's not enough. And
you break a hand.
You know, here's my thing. I don't know if 100 people exist with the right amount of courage anyway. And the people that would have the right amount of courage to do that are not like, they're not who you would put there to do that anyway. Do you get what I'm saying?
It don't matter who you put. I think it don't even really matter about the number.
100 mentally ill people would be different though.
1,000, it wouldn't matter.
Do you know why 100 mentally ill? Because 100 people that are mentally ill, that are like psychotic, you know, sometimes they find that extra piece of strength out of nowhere.
But they lack tactics.
There you go.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that number.
That's true.
I don't think that number even changes if you slap another O on it.
1,000.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah, big silver.
There's no. What's the equivalent? A 3-year-old? You can bring as many as you want. They can't beat me in a fight. You can bring thousands.
You think it's the same? You think it's the same?
It's the equivalent. A 4-year-old then. 1,000 4-year-olds versus me.
Do you think 1,000 10-year-olds have got you though?
10-year-olds, it gets a bit techier because some of them growth spurts starting early now.
Yeah. So don't you think it's more 10-year-olds than 4?
No, the strength. Yeah, on a strength thing. No way. I'm not gonna be. What's the strength of a gorilla to a man? Probably like 50 times.
Well, what I want to know is the strength of an average 10-year-old to a man.
Exactly. So we'll do that for. But I reckon that would be like you'll be like 4 times stronger than.
4 to 10 times.
4 to 10 times stronger. All right, let's do it to a 10-year-old.
So hold on, wait. Maybe we could punch up a gorilla. It's saying gorillas are only 10 times stronger than a human.
10 times is quite a bit, bro. That's a lot.
Yeah, so it's around the same as me versus a 5-year-old then. I'll be 10 times stronger than a 5-year-old. Maybe not 10 times stronger than a 10-year-old.
Are you not 10 times? You got to be more than 10 times stronger than a 5-year-old.
So if you can bench 120
you got to
kg,
be a good...
If you can bench 120 kg, they only have to bench 12 kg.
Who? What, a 5-year-old?
Yeah.
A 5-year-old ain't benching 12.
Bro, like a pack of sugar's 2 kg.
Bro, they ain't benching 12. A 5-year-old?
I reckon
an average 5-year-old ain't doing that.
What, benching a 12-year-old? 12 kg.
I'm going to damn well test that.
So am I.
12 pounds in kilos.
So what did you find? What did you search here?
How much can a 5-year-old lift?
Is there not a stat to know
the average?
Who's measuring 5-year-old strength against a human?
12 pounds would be like 5 kg.
So 5 kg is what a 5-year-old can carry.
That's easy.
Yeah.
What do you mean? My daughter does that normal. Carry? Well, I'm telling you, my daughter can bench 12 kg.
How old is your daughter?
6. But she could do it at 5.
There's only one way to find out.
I'm going to go.
Take her to the gym.
I've got a 12 kg kettlebell at my house and I'm going to test this.
Bench it though, you said.
She's going to have to bench it.
Yeah.
It's do or die, man. She's going to have to do it.
Try a thing. She's going to have to figure it out, isn't it? She's going to have to figure it out. But, boy, I would love to see it, though. I can't lie. I would love to see it.
I do. I
heard a man asking for Mr. Beast to set it up.
What, 100 man versus thing? He can probably get them as well. It's America, innit? Yeah.
Bro, he could do it. You just sign a waiver. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. If a man signs a waiver and you're being paid for it, it is what that is. You get what I'm saying? And also, is it murder? Because it's a gorilla, isn't it?
You can't try it.
There you go. Maybe there's liability from his point of view, but if you've signed the waiver, that is what it is.
If you sign the waiver, you're done.
Yeah, it is what that is. So then it is, yeah, it's literally that. It's like whoever comes out, comes out. Look, I don't think it could happen, but if it does happen, like 95% of man are done. Yeah, and maybe even more. Yeah. But hear what I'm saying. The people that survived are the ones who were the most pussy.
Or they will have such damage to them that they will wish they died. Bro, they've got... gorillas have got claws and teeth.
Yeah.
Both. Like, we've got nothing.
Nothing. When it comes to... Hey, when it comes to all of that, yeah, we are one of the most pussy. If we don't have armor, we are fucked.
Bro, this is proof of God. That we are the top of the animal kingdom. It is proof that it's a God. We wouldn't have made it out of anything. We can't survive anything. We can't fly. We can't swim. We can't do
in the great scheme of it, we can't run fast either.
You know, exactly. Ostriches way past us.
What?
Ostriches.
You know why? For a long time, I used to think, I think I told you this time ago. Years ago, actually. We podded on this ages ago. I was very convinced I could run faster than an elephant.
They're off, you know.
Yeah, do you know what? I sat there like a weirdo for a good hour watching videos on YouTube on elephants running to work out how quick that they were actually running. Yo, those things can cut, bro.
Do you know what's madder? Did you know that for all these other animals out there in the animal kingdom, the lions, tigers, boom, 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 none of them can run with an elephant?
None of them can what?
An elephant will beat up a tiger.
Yeah.
It would beat up most things, maybe even a bear. Not that they really come face to face with a bear, but elephants are so big, so strong. No, they don't fight because they don't have to fight, almost.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, who did they have the most beef with?
Let me see. Let me just Google who can beat an elephant in a fight.
Nobody could.
No, well, not humans. An elephant.
Yeah, no, there's no animal
that could beat up an elephant.
Yeah, especially if it's got its tusks. They can.
If it's got its tusks, yeah, it's mad.
Baby elephants can get yammed, innit?
Yeah, of course they could.
Yeah, baby. But that, in a direct fight, the only animal that is likely to have a chance is a rhino.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not even trying to eat.
Yeah, I'll put money on an elephant all day.
How did these lot get so rammed? They eat grass.
I know. I know.
This is like, what's going on?
Some different type of genetics, boy.
Just they got bare stomachs in that as well.
Yeah. Different type of genetics. Anyway, how are you, bro?
I'm good. I'm alive, man. Can't complain.
Training hard and that.
Yeah, I'm training, man.
Sun's out.
Yeah.
Feel good, lost some weight.
You know what? The sun's out and it feels better. But it makes me not want to be here. When the sun's out here, I want to get away.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel the same.
That's because your hunger's being fed. You're out the country every couple of weeks anyway.
That's probably quite some way true still. But yeah, I do like when it's hot. I do like it here still. When it's overly hot, obviously not. Like there's a time where being in a city where it's too hot, it's mad.
Yeah.
But when the temperature's proper, I'm like, when people are on holiday, yeah. You see when people go on holiday, when the temperature's right here and they're doing the holiday pics, I'm like, this didn't bang the way you wanted it to.
Yeah, facts.
It didn't. Like, oh yeah, it's nice, but it didn't bang.
Yeah. Go in October.
Bang. Yeah, go in October,
yeah.
January.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. When I'm in Jamaica in January and I'm doing 1-2, hey, my DMs are beaming. People are steaming.
100%.
They're like, what? January the 2nd, I'm gone. Every time I'm out of it. I might even go January the 1st next year.
Yeah.
It's a perfect time to go on holiday.
Yeah, it's true. It is.
Like
everything's kind of shut down for them a few days anyway.
There's nothing going on. I mean, obviously, if you've got work and all that type of stuff, it's different, isn't it? But other than that, there's nothing going on. Christmas is done. New Year's is done. Yeah. January's quiet.
It's a hangover.
Yeah, it's cold. Lack of peas and whatever. Save some money from early. If you have the ability and the means or whatever, get the hell out of it, bro.
Facts.
Get the hell out of it.
Facts.
Boxing.
Yeah.
Let's just get to it. Well, I'm not gonna lie. For me personally, this is one of the best fights I've seen. You know.
I love that everyone's saying that because everyone is saying that. It didn't. I probably watched it from a different standpoint because I'm working it.
Yeah. We're talking about Chris Eubank and Benn. What's his name again? His name's just escaped me.
Who? Conor
Benn.
Yeah. Yeah, what a fight though. I knew that much. I knew it was a good fight, but for me, what was the bigger part of it was like the build up.
Yeah, the build-up
was insane, and it had so many different like narratives to it, because you had, obviously it's like a continuation of the father's, and then there's the drug scandal, the failed test,
because the original fight didn't happen,
and then because of it, it's not just about their dad's story. Now they got their own beef. And it was real and personal, and they didn't like each other. So because people knew it was real now, people are buying into it. Then you got the age and weight situations, another narrative that people are just piling on top of. Then you got the fact that Eubank Sr wasn't there. And then on top of that, cussing Eubank Jr.
He wasn't
in
on
interviews.
it.
He weren't on it. It was just so many layers of it. These are Eubank Jr. has been a villain his whole career, and this was the fight that kind of started to swing the pendulum.
Well, it was because of the drugs test thing more so, innit? Because what I noticed was obviously you have the legacy of the fathers in that they're making these two. Then now because of that, these two are gonna fight. Yeah, obviously people were talking about the weight thing, all of that type of stuff. But then when Conor failed that drugs test, yeah, I think also the way that Chris talked about it made a lot of people, like, he won a lot of people over in that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, some of the things he was referencing wasn't just about them two. It was about the undercard, like people that have been training for a long period of time. You know, they don't make big dough.
Yeah.
So they're spending money on for this to just not even happen.
Yeah.
And then he donated some money as well, didn't he? Yeah, to some of the fighters or whatever. So that, I think, yeah, if they didn't have any real animosity towards each other, and you need to get something to put you in a zone to want to just smack somebody's head off, Conor gave that a real great reason for me to actually really not like you now.
Yeah.
And so if we do fight, I actually really don't like you. Before, it's like, you know what, I understand it's a legacy thing, I'm going to follow my father and whatever else, yeah. But sometimes that isn't enough.
Yeah.
I need something that is going to make me not like you so I can tap into that and get busy.
Facts. And get me up at 5 a.m. and push me that extra 5-10% when I'm knackered. Like, they don't like each other. They had to be separated. Then we had the egg slap in Manchester.
Yeah, you know why I thought, because I remember I sent that to you, I actually thought he slapped him at first.
I was there and I thought, I didn't see it was an egg. I saw something fly in a certain direction and I thought he slapped the gum out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And then only
for people who didn't watch, you should know, but I don't want to be ignorant. I don't want people to I don't want to just assume that everyone knows what we're talking about. But you're talking about Chris Eubank slapping him around the face with an egg. In the conference. And
then that just sent it to another level. And it was always going to be one of those fights that got bigger and bigger and bigger until it happened. And you could feel it in fight week. Fight week, Tuesday we had grand arrivals, but like, there's a big difference between the media that turns out for certain fights and a pretty standard card, and then for a super card. This felt big. Everyone's there. No wiggle room at all. And then you had the public workouts, and throughout it, it is quite repetitive, but it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then on the night, you could feel it. You know, like when you wake up in the morning, you put your phone on, it's fight day. You know, this is it. This is a 35-year feud, essentially. You know, but like started by your dads, and like something that you don't get in boxing often, and you can't replicate it. And yes, there are some stories that have a few years to marinate, Pacquiao and Mayweather, and there's a few others where like they're attached to Kell Brook and Amir Khan, where they're attached to each other for a while, and they have to fight, because no matter who else they fight, no matter what the result, the next question is, what about fighting them, or what about you're just too you have to settle this.
Yeah, I think that's the sick thing about this as well, is that like there was no title, but it was as big as a title fight.
Way bigger.
Do you get what I'm saying?
They both turned down title fights in order to make this fight. The thing is, title fights, world titles, they don't always. In fact, they're not
always big numbers. They're not always big draws.
Numbers. They're not big draws, and they're not big money, because it's just the best versus the best.
Yeah.
And in certain things, like a UFC, for example, the best versus the best is the best fight usually. But in boxing, it's not really that. It's like some people just go about their job quietly and are sick, but they don't really have the biggest profile. This fight, we have two people who are not world champions, who are probably not the best in their divisions, and they've just made more money, triple, quadruple the money that they would make fighting any of the world champions.
Yeah. So what was your take on the weight thing, though? Because they're two different.
They're two weight divisions apart. Essentially, not really, because Conor's fought at 154 a couple of times now, the last couple. But he can make 147. I think he was making 154 in preparation to have to make 157 or 160 against Eubank. So he's like kind of coming up. Fully hydrated. No issues there. There are certain advantages that can be had with that, and then obviously disadvantages is that what they say is, if you can make a weight too easy, it's not your weight. You shouldn't be that's essentially what it is. Not that people want to be weight bullies, but if you can boil down and get there, then you're at a physical advantage. So you should try and boil down and get there, providing it doesn't affect your performance on the night. Then you've got Chris, who's fought at 160 the vast majority of his career. Obviously, as you get older, it gets a bit tougher. But Chris isn't the fighter that you've never seen his face look chubby. You've never seen him out of shape. No one's ever seen that. He's always like there or thereabouts. It's tight for him to get there. His advantages are he's the bigger man, like longer levers, bigger dimensions, more power, you'd assume, all of that. The disadvantage is you're potentially dehydrated and weight drained, especially with the rehydration clause. The next morning, you got to make 170 at 9 a.m. So it's another weigh-in on the day of the fight, and that limits how much weight you can put on and feel good between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. essentially. And everyone's super meticulous on what you eat and when you eat, in order to get the best performance you possibly can and feel your body how you should. So that they knew what they was doing when they dragged him to 160 and then a rehydration clause of 170. But it's boxing, you get what you negotiate.
Yeah. I saw Chris walking around with this T-shirt saying he only needed to be 60%.
That was last time.
Was that last time?
So
he didn't do that this time around?
No.
He let that go.
Yeah, he said basically since the failed drug test, he said I need to be 100% to show so that I can make an example of you.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So yeah, see, there it is.
He's just got away with words, you know. Like
he was speaking really well in the times that I was watching him.
Every time he had the whole promotion on strings.
Yeah, because he what I like about him is that he does what his dad does. It's like he gets asked a question and he pauses, and then he speaks.
Yeah,
and he speaks with this like really calm sort of tone. Do you know what I mean? But it's measured at the same time. I watched the Piers Morgan thing when they were both talking, and there was only one little part actually where like his dad came up and he actually seemed lightly emotional, but he weren't gonna, like he caught himself just as it was about to.
But he'll be human for a second.
Yes. And then when I watched that part, I thought, now this is really, really, really upsetting him. Genuinely really upsetting him.
Yeah.
But he's not going to let this get in the way. But it almost, just for a second, you could see it.
Yeah.
And I remember Conor saying, because Piers asked him, asked them both, would you shake hands afterwards? And Conor was like, yeah, I would shake hands with him afterwards or whatever. And then Chris said, I can't shake hands with him afterwards. I can't shake hands with the cheat. He tried to cheat. He tried to do this and that. And for that, I can't shake his hand. in my head, I'm still thinking they'll probably still shake hands though, still. Yeah. But he's just in this mode, innit? But yeah, the way that they sold the fight was good. But I remember seeing like little video clips of Chris Eubank Sr. and he was getting really emotional about the fight at one point. One of the, I think it might have been IFL. Was it one of the IFL ones where he was like crying? But when he did give context to why he was crying afterwards, but I understood the context anyway at the time because he was at was it Michael Watson thing? Yes, yeah. And I know, like watching docs, I've seen a couple of docs actually on Michael Watson, on Chris Eubank, and like that there's like a survivor's guilt there. That really haunts him. The fact that they had this fight, Michael Watson came up with like brain damage and his life was changed forever. And that is a very, 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 very sensitive subject for him. And that is something that, if you wanna sit him down and you want to get the emotion, if you want to do the Diary of a CEO and you want to get the tears, all you need to do is tap into that. Yeah. Because that is like, that's very serious for him. It's personal, it's emotional and all of that. And I think that he also looked at, there is a possibility with this weight thing, the way that you lot are trying to do it, just for the sake of legacy, you're going to put these lot in a ring together where someone can get seriously hurt. People can get seriously hurt anyway, but this is raising the risk even more so. Yeah,
the rehydration more than look, the weight of 160. I don't think the narratives can run, but the reality is he's made 160
before.
Not just before, in every one of his last 5 fights. All of those fights and before that, he's a 160 fighter. It might be tight, it might get more difficult, but he can make 160.
So then why was there so much of a thing about it then?
Because his dad is saying he shouldn't be fighting at 160 regardless. So
has his dad always felt that passionate about him fighting 160? Is that what?
No, that's the root of the issue? Look, he fought at 160 for most of his career. Then he fought a little bit at 168, but you're fighting giants at 168 because now you're fighting bigger boys. Arthur Abraham, George Groves, some big ones. And then he went back down to 160 because he felt like he could gain more than he could lose being at 160 in terms of whether it's physical advantage, being bigger, being whatever it is. Didn't really work for him at 168. Went back down to 160. He's now again at 160, but obviously as time always tells you, as your career goes on, you're never going to shrink. You're always going to get bigger, and like your body will like struggle to get inside that weight healthily. And his dad basically saying he can't make 160
today.
Healthily, yeah. He did make it anyway. He missed the weight, but there was that was more of a miscalculation than anything. And the fact that all week, for example, he had made everything on his time. I'll arrive when I want to arrive, and I will speak when I want to speak, and you will speak when I say you can speak. He's been like that the whole week. He called for I think he asked for an early weigh-in, and then came late. And usually in normal situations, if you miss weight, you have an hour or so to go and get it off. You come way back in after a while. You go to the gym, you go do whatever you need to do, whether it's a miscalculation or you're just a bit heavy, because there's usually a penalty, or the fight could be off, depending on how far over the weight you are. Because he came late to the scale or came late to the weigh-in, they closed the scale. They didn't afford him that extra time he needed to get off that weight. It was 22 grams, I think. Mm-hmm. He would have just had to run upstairs to the front door and run back down. It would have gone off. Yeah. But instead, they chose to close the scale, not give him that time. And then obviously it reads as he's missed weight. Yeah. And he's missed weight can mean a number of things. It can mean you're struggling. It can mean you misjudged it. Or it can mean that you can't make this weight. And that because that's been the narrative this whole time, said by Chris Eubank Sr. It's not Eubank Jr. saying he can't make the weight.
Yeah, but there was bare people that was talking about
exactly, but more so because his father's saying it. Who's better informed?
But wasn't Simon Jordan like throwing that around from early as well?
Everyone was saying that because the last fight, for example, the first one they were meant to have, he was meant to make 157, and that was the concession 18 months ago. He had to make 157, and he made it. But obviously, that was the week that the fight got called off. Because of the failed drug test. So from then, Chris Eubank Sr.'s had a problem with this fight because they're like, 157, you're trying to kill my son. That extra 3 pounds isn't coming from like it's coming from your brain essentially, and that you're what you need. And being weight drained and going into a grueling fight, recipe for disaster. Boxing history tells you that. That's why you have the situation with so many fighters that get brain damage or die or whatever it is. Like dehydration's a massive thing. So his dad's had a problem with this fight for a long time. And his dad, to be fair to him, has said both things. He goes, it's not even fair on Conor.
Yeah, I know. I've heard him
to go up.
Yeah.
And fight. It's just let them be kind of thing. But obviously, money wins. Yeah. And opportunities, and it is a legacy fight, and storylines are... why let the truth get in the way of a good story?
Yeah. For that, the promoters, like your guy and Eddie, were getting like TalkSport were coming for them a bunch of times.
Of course.
Like, bare times I'm listening to it, and it's like Simon Jordan in particular is giving he's giving both of them a hard time.
More Eddie though.
More Eddie, yeah, because he doesn't really like, he don't. I don't want to say he doesn't love Eddie, because I don't know what their personal relationship is like. Maybe off camera and that they're probably very, very cool.
Yeah.
And they might have some love-hate relationship. But I feel like he gets irked by Eddie. More so because I think on other situations, I don't want to divert the conversations, but in other topics, there are times when Eddie goes there and has his number and he don't like it. So he holds
Eddie's
it.
as sharp as
him. But I think Eddie knows exactly what he's talking about, innit? Yeah. So it's like also, Eddie goes there knowing, oh, you're gonna come for me. It's fine. I'm gonna be on you as well.
And also, I have an answer. I might not be the answer you want, but I have an answer for everything you're saying, kind of thing. There's too many different, and the thing is, it's boxing, innit? When all you do is deflect in boxing. When someone's talking about you. You said, what about that? You didn't say anything when that happened.
Yeah.
You didn't say anything. Now, that's what you can do. Like, it's literally that all the way through. But it was, I think, the fight after what happened 18 months ago was always going to be a bigger fight. And it kind of needed to happen. It's a 2-fight deal, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not sure if they should do it again. Personally.
Well, let's talk about the fight first, though. Did you think that that Chris Eubank Sr. was coming?
Not until around 30 minutes before.
Okay. I did.
You thought he was going to make it?
I thought he was going to come there. But do you know what? I had two conflicting opinions. I'll tell you one opinion that is wrong, and I shouldn't think this. But it was just, I'm a cynic at times, isn't it? Yeah. And I even tweeted and I thought, I shouldn't say this, but I couldn't help but think this. I'm like, he's going to come under two premises. One, the occasion is too big for him to not come there and at least make it about himself in some way. That was my cynic.
I hear it.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's no way that on a day like this, Chris Eubank is going to sit in his house on a day knowing that, you know what, even if I just make it about me, he's just going to stay in his yard. I just couldn't see that happening. So on that, I was like, yeah, he'll come and if anything, he'll just make it about himself. But then I thought, if he doesn't do that, he will be there, but he may be somewhere that we may not know, where we might not know he's there until a certain point. Do you get what I'm saying? So like, he might love his son so much that it's like, I'm not supporting this, but I can't be in my house. It's my son. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not going to be at the ring. I'm just going to be in there.
Maybe, but because he was so vocal in the build up to it, and I'm talking recently in that same fight week on the walk saying, you're a disgrace.
Yeah, I know.
I thought that's that is too harsh to then do the U-turn on. That's what I genuinely thought.
And I understand that, and it makes perfect sense. But I still did think that even with that being said, he was going to be there, like in some way, whatever the context was, that he was going to be there. It was
never going to be complete without him.
Never.
And I'm telling you, you see the moment
when I
found out it was coming.
Yeah? Oh yeah, you would have found out early, innit?
I was struggling to like not talk.
Is it? Yeah.
But when I say he is, when the stadium saw on the screens that image there of him coming out of the car and Chris Eubank Sr. is there with Chris Eubank Jr., the place erupted, bro.
Did you hear the commentary? Because you was right
no,
there.
I didn't. Was it Adam
I heard
Smith?
the commentary.
Was it Adam Smith?
Yeah. Oh,
Simply
my God.
the best. Bro, you see him. You see Adam. He's got a podcast now called The Voice of Boxing.
Right.
He is the voice of boxing. He never, ever misses. I'm telling you, he is the best in the business.
Do you know what? Yeah? He's so good at it. He's so good at it, yeah, that you don't even realize how much of a skill that is. You just think, oh yeah, like he's just doing what he's. Bro, he's so good at it. Yep. It's like, and those things, like see, like that type of commentary, that contributes to it being a classic. Do you get what I'm saying? That is a major contribution to it being a classic. Obviously, the moment is the moment, but hearing somebody, like just the passion in the voice, yeah, that was mad. When I saw it, I was so happy to see that lift door open, and you can hear the crowd, by the way.
Yeah.
As soon as the doors open and you heard him, you could literally hear the crowd of like they're seeing this, and you could just see it was mad. It was mad.
And do you know what image did it for me? It goes to Conor Benn's dressing room, and you see him and his dad looking at it. Became wrestling.
Yeah,
he was looking at the screen. They was like, he did it. He came. He pulled up, and there was a point where like they looked away. It was just like it was. You can't get that again.
What do you think that did?
Perfect.
What do you think that did, if anything, in that dressing room?
In what dressing room?
In Conor Benn's dressing room. Do you think it did anything?
I reckon they would have probably had that conversation at some point, saying he'll come up, and if it doesn't make a difference, like for Conor, I don't think that would have made a difference, because he would have been like, regardless, it doesn't matter if his dad's there or not, I'm beating him.
Yes, I agree. But there's one thing within your soul that you can't control. You can control how you behave, yeah. But you see when your stomach gets butterflies, you can't control that.
That would have happened.
You know what I'm saying?
Surely,
you just can't control that. So when you see that, I'm like, from an honest point of view, I would love to know, like, how did that actually feel? Because you kind of, if I'm taking an educated guess, it's like, you see it and you think, for fuck, okay, cool. They've made it about them and it's a big moment. All right, cool. Now it's like, it is what it is. But then you have to get back to reality. Oh yeah, I'm going to beat, it doesn't matter about his dad. Yeah. Fuck that. Anyway, I'm going to do you know what I'm saying? He's getting back in his head. But for those moments, they were very locked into that screen.
They were
locked in. They were locked in. I don't know if I would have, I don't know. I'm not in that world like that, yeah. But I think that I probably would have preempted something like this happening, and I don't know if I would have wanted the screens on. I don't know if I would have wanted that distraction. All I would have wanted to hear is,
but you're watching the previous fights, innit? Like, you just have it on.
Yeah.
And just like, you've seen it now, and it's there, you're watching it, and you're just like, all right. But there's a part of you that knows this is gonna make your night harder.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you realise it then or in 10 minutes, because Chris Eubank Sr. is going to give Chris Eubank Jr., just by him being there, an extra 5%.
Yeah. And even when they came out of the lift, I replayed this thing bare times. When they came out of the lift, Chris was actually trying to not smile.
Very smug. Smug.
He does that thing that my brethren does, actually. When he knows that something's just happened, whether that's the move or whatever it is, and they're just trying to not, you get what I'm saying? It's kind of smug, but they do really want to crack that smile, though. Yeah, like my dad's
like this is it now. Now I personally always had Chris Eubank Jr. winning the fight. Always. I just felt like they are both good fighters, but I don't think anyone was like way better than the other. And then I just thought the size and the experience was going to just be too much. But then when I saw that, I kind of thought it was impossible to beat him.
Yeah.
But I just felt like that moment was bigger than anything. Probably one of the boxing's biggest ever moments.
Yeah.
As far as like storylines and how cinematic it was, I can only imagine what that was like, because that was big in the arena with no commentary, no nothing. I can only imagine what that was like for people watching at home with Adam Smith over it. Simply the best. And he just got it bang on. It was goosebumpy. Like everyone felt it. Like you felt your heart did something. Do you know what I'm saying? Everyone had that feeling of, oh my, like it felt Stone Cold had that same moment when he was in the bar and WCW were taking over WWE. And he's watching it happen on the screen. It's just like, and you just see him throw the beer. He said, I'm going. And as soon as you see Stone Cold come, it's like, thank God, like we've all been waiting for this. And that was what it was when Senior came. It was like we've all been waiting for this. Then you had the ring walk, bro. And the ring walk was perfect. One of the best ring walks I've seen.
Whose ring walk are you talking
Chris
about?
Eubank
Oh
Jr.
yeah, definitely. I thought Conor Benn's wasn't as. I didn't.
Yeah, his just means business.
Yeah.
And like his, I actually don't know what Conor Benn's ring walk is. Whereas Eubank Jr.'s is iconic anyway. Like it's always still Dre, but the fact that he had the Simply the Best, which is what Eubank Sr. used to come out to. And then it went into like some kind of slowish orchestral thing where the camera just kept panning around them, and there was no. It was just like Lord of the Rings music.
Like, and it was just, see them two together was
it felt like wrestling. It couldn't be real life. Do you see what I'm saying?
It was beautiful.
I thought the same thing.
It was beautiful.
I was the Undertaker all the time.
Who's the guy who used to have the thing?
Paul Bearer.
Paul Bearer looked like them and then. Just with him.
It was like, that's it, in the fur jacket. And like, you know when he's just doing mad stuff. But it just works. He is one of one. Chris Eubank Sr. is one of one. There is, the closest thing to him is his son. But there's nothing like him. He's a nutcase. He said Rastafari at the end. For no reason. He's the best.
Yeah, he is.
He's the best.
Matt asked him, this was before the fight. Firstly, Chris Eubank, how are you doing? He looked at the camera and he said, extraordinary. And he just does, he don't blink, no nothing. He's just looking at him. Bro, he's one of one. He's one. I don't know if I told you this. One time I was down, I was in Oxford Street. What's that road that goes down? It's not Regent Street. It's the other one with like a bunch of designer shops. Can't remember the name of the street.
I know. It's not Regent. It's not Regent Street.
It's not Regent Street. It's the other one. No. It's not there.
It's
just off Bond Street anyway. Yeah. He was outside the designer shop. This is Chris Eubank Sr. Yeah? He was outside there, Rolls Royce or whatever. Yeah, and he stood outside like a mannequin, bro. Like he weren't. he bought a couple of things. He was just standing outside there, outside the shop, like he was a mannequin, bro.
He's the best,
bro.
Simply the best.
He was just there, just standing there, just waiting for people to just come and just say hello to him or whatever it was. He was there for what, 10 minutes, just standing there outside by the whip.
The best.
He's different, bro. He's different. But the fight anyway. What was your assessment of that? Like, I know obviously you was there. When I was looking at it, my first immediate thought was when it started, I was like, in my mind, I was like, this looks like Conor's fighting a bit emotionally. Like he just came out and he was just swinging. From a spectator's point of view, this was amazing.
Yeah, and I think I questioned it. I didn't know whether Conor would come out swinging like that. I thought he might have a look, just because it's a 36-minute fight, and if you walk onto a humdinger, then it's immature almost.
Yes, 100%. Because his feet weren't in the best positions at times as well. Like when he was swinging like that when he first came out. Anyway.
Yeah, but I thought it was brave to do what he said he was going to do. I'm just going to come out and we're going to see some right hooks and we're going to try and land some shots. 18-foot ring means that you've got 1 second less. Half a second less of thinking time, especially if you're the guy that was pushing him back. I rate Conor because I didn't think Conor could do that in terms of push. Bro, this is Chris Eubank Jr. This is the guy that people want 20-foot rings against and 22-foot rings against because he hunts you. Maybe not so much in the last couple of years, but that was more a stylistic thing with Roy Jones Jr. He hunts you. So when I heard that there was an 18-foot ring being asked for and then immediately granted, I thought, that could be a bad move for Conor Benn. You don't just go hunting Chris Eubank Jr. That's what I was thinking in my head. But he said, no, let's do it. Toe to toe. I'm sticking here. And I thought they both fought a fantastic fight.
Audio listeners, if at certain points we stop, it's not because we're being like we're watching the football at the same time too.
That's crazy.
PSG
one up. Dembele. I just thought the fight was fantastic.
Yeah.
For what it was, I didn't think it was good as what everyone else thought it was.
Right.
I haven't watched it back. And I haven't watched it as a fan. No pressure on, no nothing. I'm doing things. I was meant to do I was meant to take the post-fight press conference.
Right.
So I'm also doing a little bit of prep.
Okay, got
for that at the same time as the fight's going on.
So you watch it for a completely different.
But
you watch it for what it actually really is.
Yeah.
Which I think is good, and I like that.
And I like.
I guess for us, it was more like I had Eubank to win. I was actually supposed to message you as well, but I had Eubank to just win anyway. I think the reason why I thought it was as good as I do is because of the spectacle with the fathers. I thought that contributed to the way that I was going to see this fight, but also because for me, when I'm looking at Conor in this, I'm saying, if I had to put some money down, I'm saying maybe around the 7th, 8th round, he might get put down, yeah? But I'm looking at this guy and I'm saying, he's coming across. This may not be his thought process, but this is just how it looked to me.
Yeah. I'm
letting you know that regardless of what happens, win, lose or draw, I'm letting you know I can bang, bro.
Yeah.
This is just what I'm on.
Yeah.
This is just what I'm on.
Yeah.
Forget about, there's obviously going to be a result and whatnot, but I have to let you know that I'm just on stuff.
Yeah.
Do you get me? So when he's come out and he's doing all that, I'm saying, the first couple of rounds, I'm like, if he's not careful, he's going to walk into something and he's just going to get knocked down. But that didn't happen. And as the fight went on, obviously it was still going however it was going, but he really, 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 really did give this a good crack.
He gave it everything.
He was throwing. Yeah. He was really throwing in the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
He was really doing that. And that's what surprised me. I
didn't think Conor had that in him.
Nah.
I just didn't think he would be able to deal with the size and experience. And I just think I didn't know if he was a big enough puncher to even get that respect out of him. Especially all the narratives around the drug thing. Was that your power? All of these questions are questions that you need answers to, innit, when you're watching a fight. So I was watching it and it just seemed like the most grueling fight, man. Grueling.
It seemed really, really tiring.
Yeah.
Because they were their energy levels, obviously it was dropping, but not significant. Because it was if either one of them drops significant, it's curtains. It's curtains. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So both of them had to. And obviously, as the time went on, Eubank was just really on him, just hunting him down and then even just leaning on him a little bit. Leaning on him, trying to take
when you know you're not fresh, you just say, all right, let me fight like the bigger man. Let me push you to the ropes.
And if I lean on you for a couple of seconds, time, it just adds up.
And even then, even if it's not doing any damage, what it looks like in the ring isn't always what it feels like in the ring.
Yeah.
So Conor might have felt fine on these ropes. He's not landing anything significant or whatever it is. He's just on me. But what it looks like is Eubank's the boss. He's making you stay on these ropes and throw shots. And cool, everything might be hitting arms and shoulders, but he looks like the boss. He's winning the rounds just off being kind of the bigger man, the boss in there. So I just felt like he fought I know a lot of people had it draws, and I know a couple of people that had Conor winning. I actually had it the exact same score as the judges. I had it 116-112. I felt like it was an 8-4 fight. But I just felt like a lot of those rounds weren't like super clear.
Yeah.
So you can kind of have a fight in any which way. But 116, 112 is what I had it. I thought it was a top fight.
Yeah.
And it was one of those fights that thankfully like didn't disappoint, because how many times have we seen
a big spectacle just being
big,
dry.
massive build up turn into just a Mayweather Pacquiao. and that's it.
Yeah, I hear that still.
They said what they was gonna do, and they both delivered, man. They both deserve all that money.
And Conor, even Eubank did say, he was like, like, I didn't know that he had that.
Yeah.
He said that it was just, sometimes you need a person that is going to be able to just bring that out of you. You know what I mean? I would have loved to have seen them shake hands still.
Did they not?
No, they didn't. And I think when it was announced who won, it was on like Conor's face for a second, yeah, and you could see like he closed his eyes for a second, like fuck, man, like, and then he almost sort of looked to the side, but then Chris was just celebrating or whatever, and it just didn't happen. And I thought, do you know what? It would have been such a good icing on the cake to just see the four of them take a picture together.
Yeah.
Like even when I don't know if this was before the fight or after the fight. If it was before, when they was in the ring, Chris Eubank Sr. was in there, and he went over to them, and didn't he? And he also like put his arm around. Yeah. I don't know if this is the timing for that.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, you
can't butt a man up like early.
Before a fight. Yeah. Like, you can see Conor Benn was almost like, all right, yeah.
He was trying to be respectful, but it was like, right, like look now. But afterwards, it's like, you know what? The four of them together, just take a picture, boom. But though, if they are going to do it again, which you're going to obviously talk on why you think it shouldn't. If they are going to do it again, then like just end it on that. Everyone together, take a picture, boom, boom, bang. But I do think that it shouldn't happen again, because I just think it should just be a one-on-one.
Yeah,
one-on-one.
I don't mind if it happens again. I just don't think it should happen next.
Okay.
I think what they've done there, that story had the perfect conclusion for now. I think trying to go straight into an immediate rematch, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I hear it.
What are we saying? Now it's just a normal fight.
Yeah, what's the story?
That had all these different factors flying around it, and a lot of those got settled in that ring. It wasn't controversial for me. And some people will say that they had it a draw or whatever it is, but for me, that just wasn't controversial.
No, it wasn't.
I think that fight can happen again, but I think if they both go off in their different directions and get a world title, and you could double back, I think that. But look, both the champions. Like, I think Chris Eubank Jr. beats Erisande Lara now, and I think based off that performance, Conor Benn beats Barrios as well. Okay. So I think they can both go and win world titles, and then it might. I think it's the appetite.
Yeah.
Like, that fight needed to happen because everyone wanted it to happen. I'm not sure if everyone wants the rematch.
Yeah, not right now. Not right now. Let everyone talk about it.
Once the rematch gets, if it does get immediately signed, then I'll be back on this chair saying that's a good rematch.
Yeah. Listen, I'm watching it. That's the other thing.
That's the facts, yeah.
But just in closing though, there was one other thing that happened that I loved.
What?
Billy Joe.
Napa.
When he went over to check, what was it, Chris Eubanks Jr.'s hands to see if they were wrapped properly or whatever, nothing was going on weird. And Napa was at the door. And Napa said to him, no, Billy said he wanted to go in there to go and check something, and Napa was basically like, nah. Yeah. Then Billy said, well, you're a nobody. And then, do you know what I loved? There was two things that I loved after that. One was, what was it? What was the first one was?
You're a no one.
Yeah, he said, you're a no one. And then, yeah, this is the two things I loved. One was when Napa said, I guarantee you're not coming in.
Yeah. That's what you know.
I guarantee you're not coming in. And do you know what the second thing that I loved? Yeah. He didn't get in.
Yeah, of course.
He didn't get in. I loved it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, yeah? You see, when I watched that, on my first watch, my initial thought was, you know what? I'm kind of happy, because I watched the clip and I thought, that's the kind of moment that you would see something racially problematic.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it.
And then,
so I was like, you know what? I was kind of happy that Billy handled it the way that he did, and it didn't go the way that I predicted it to go and whatever, and it was just that. Until I watched it again. And then I heard, because I didn't hear these things before, heard Big Nose. But when I heard Big Nose, I thought, you can, you know what I mean? Technicality, you can maybe get away with that one. Do you know what I mean? I got a black friend. I hear it, right? Then I heard Rubber Lips, and I thought, there he is.
That's game on.
I thought, there he is. There he is. That's him.
That's the sky.
That's him. That's him.
Facts.
That's what I thought I was gonna see. I didn't see it before, but then when I watched it back, I was like, oh, there he is. Of course, there he is.
But, you know what it is? Sometimes I don't know. I don't know what Billy Joe said since, but I just don't understand it.
Nothing.
You're coming. You think you're friends with Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank and Connor Benn, but then you're calling someone Rubber Lips.
Bro, these type of guys, yeah. You could just hear him and just know that he's cool with you, but the moment he's upset, he will some way remind you that you're black.
Facts.
He will remind you that.
Yeah.
There'll be something that will be said that will be the reminder that you're not like me. You're different. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's you, Rubber Lips. Like. And then afterwards, it will be like, nah, I wasn't. You playing a race card? Yeah. I wasn't doing that. I get on with Nigel Benn. That's my mate. That's my mate. I have dinner with him. Oh, so that's your past now.
I hope they drop him out. I'm being serious because that there. I don't even want to say too much, but yeah. It's one of those ones where. Yeah.
Daniel Kaluuya said it perfectly, innit? In the shot. Do you remember when Daniel Kaluuya?
What did he say again?
Did he say?
He said that there's one of the biggest problems in the UK is that like you'll always be reminded.
Oh yeah.
Like, even if I'm there, I'm with you now. I'm close to being a Brit. I'm close to being English. I'm messing with the pub thing and I'm doing this. You'll always remind me that there's a gap, bro. You'll always.
All I can say is when I saw that. I've seen this so many times. I'm a big man in it, and I've been around a lot of people like that as well. So I know usually the dynamics of when it starts coming out, and it's when there's a discrepancy, and nothing's gonna happen right now, but her ego's been hurt, and now we've got a few minutes to work out like what where's your biases, where are you, like what's really in your mind, and something usually does. And if it doesn't, I know this is gonna sound mad, but it's like it's weird. Like in a weird way, when it doesn't, I get a bit happy that it didn't, because I'm like, I kind of. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of expected that.
Yeah.
So you're not like that. Like you're kind of cool still. You get what I'm saying? But though, a lot of the times it's not like that. Yeah. There's always a one thing, a little something light. Yeah,
100%.
The big nose. If he left it at the big nose, we would have. You could have left that down to interpretation or whatever, yeah. But you see when you hit him with the Rubber Lips, we know. Come on, bro.
We know what you are.
We know what that is, bro. Yeah. That's their man's thing, innit? That's their man's thing. And you know what? Here's this. Maybe in a different world or whatever, or at a different time, you might bang Napa and it might be a bit techie. Maybe. I don't know. But you know what though? You just didn't get in.
No chance.
You didn't get in it. That's
guarantee
it. So
guarantee it.
Yeah, I guarantee it. And you know what? I'll back him again. That if it happens again, he ain't getting in again.
That's it.
So yeah. But anyways, we'll leave it as that. We need to. Yeah, man.
Napa guarantees.
Big up Napa, by the way.
Yeah, big him up.
Big up Napa, man.
Napa guarantees a real guarantee.
Yeah.
Get me.
He just turned. Do you know what I love?
Skull,
he just turned up the scheme, because at first it was monotone, but it was like it's like Napa sussed this. Hold on a minute. You're gonna say something mad and whatever, and you're gonna try and do all of that. I'm having to. Okay, cool. Let me just raise my voice just a tiny bit. I guarantee you're not getting in. How about that? Mm-hmm. Just leave. Yeah. You might as well leave, because all you're doing now is just the camera stuff, and that's all a bit long. But yeah, now he hasn't said anything, Dan. The only thing that he said is that he spoke to Coogan, and basically said that he wants to have his warm-up fight with Chris.
Fuck off.
He said he wants to have his warm-up fight and then he wants to go for a title shot or whatever. But I don't know. I always remember, I know Billy is a good fighter still.
He is.
He is a very good fighter. I just always remember though, because obviously I have to do this, I do remember the time when he was like, he went on this big rant about like never quitting.
Yeah.
You should never ever quit. You have to die in the ring. That's what he was saying. What was the fight was that?
It was Dubois, Joe Joyce.
He took the knee, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. He said you got to die in there. Like it could never be me.
Yeah.
That's how he was talking. It could never quit.
Yeah.
No way. And then what? How many months later?
Canelo.
How many months later? Man got one uppercut to the eyeball, and we ain't seen him since. That was 3 years ago. Ain't seen him since. Put on a bag of weight, and it's looking all mad. But you know what? I'm not going to talk too much anyway because there's a lot of them man that live not far from where I am. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, he's over them ways.
You know what I'm saying? What? Yeah, no. You got them, man. You got to make peace with them. Otherwise, if not, you just got to be prepared to go in a car park somewhere
every day.
Yes, and fight
again,
a fist fight,
and again and again.
All right, listen. Anyway, thanks for listening, everyone. Dan, love every time, bro.
Come on.
Until next time.